Aquarius, if you have recently felt that something in your life is changing, but you cannot yet explain exactly what it is, don't ignore that feeling. The week of August 15th to 21st, 2026, carries an unusual energy for you, one that can bring unexpected news, sudden realizations, new connections, and a decision that changes the way you see your future. Something may happen that seems small at first. A message, a conversation, an invitation, a new person, a surprising offer. But beneath that seemingly ordinary moment, something much bigger may be beginning. Aquarius, this is not a week about simply continuing with the same routine. It is about recognizing when life is quietly asking you to move in a new direction. During August 15th to 21st, 2026, the planetary atmosphere highlights your friendships, social connections, career ambitions, finances, personal freedom, emotional life, and long-term dreams. The influence of Uranian energy can make circumstances feel unpredictable, while Jupiter encourages expansion and new possibilities. At the same time, Saturn reminds you that not every exciting opportunity deserves an immediate yes. Your challenge this week is to recognize the difference between a distraction and a doorway. If this reading resonates with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay until the end, because this week may reveal something important about your career, money, love life, friendships, unexpected opportunities, and one part of your past that may finally make sense. Aquarius, you have never been someone who fits comfortably inside other people's expectations. You think differently. You see possibilities where others see limitations. You often understand where the world is going before the people around you recognize the change. But sometimes being different can feel lonely. You may have spent periods of your life feeling misunderstood. You may have had ideas that nobody supported. You may have wanted a different kind of life but struggled to explain why the traditional path didn't feel right. This week reminds you that being different was never your weakness. It was part of your preparation. And something may happen now that proves it. Your professional life becomes particularly interesting. A new opportunity could arrive through your network, an online connection, a former colleague, a friend, or someone you meet unexpectedly. This is important because Aquarius often finds opportunities through people rather than through traditional channels. Someone may mention a position. A business idea could emerge from a casual conversation. You may be invited to collaborate, or an old contact could return with an offer you never expected. Don't automatically dismiss something because it isn't part of your original plan. Sometimes the most important opportunities arrive from directions you weren't watching. If you've been unhappy with your current job, this week may make the problem impossible to ignore. Perhaps you feel that your skills are being underused. Perhaps your environment is too restrictive. Perhaps you want more independence. Or perhaps you're simply tired of doing work that no longer feels meaningful. Before making a dramatic decision, ask yourself what you actually want next. Aquarius, leaving one situation is not enough. You need somewhere better to go. Use this period to research, update your resume, develop your skills, contact people, explore new industries, consider remote opportunities, look at international possibilities. Your future may be much larger than your current environment suggests. And if you already have your own business or personal project, this week could bring an important idea. You may suddenly understand how to improve something that has been frustrating you. A new technology could make your work easier. A social media connection could bring attention to your project. Or someone may offer advice that changes your strategy completely. Listen. You don't have to follow every suggestion. But don't assume you already know everything. Sometimes one outside perspective can reveal a door you couldn't see from inside the room. Financially, Aquarius, this week carries both opportunity and unpredictability. You may see an improvement in income. A delayed payment could arrive. A side project may generate money. or an unexpected opportunity could give you a new way to earn. But Uranian energy can also create sudden expenses. Something may need repairing. A bill may appear. A planned purchase could cost more than expected. Or you may suddenly want to spend money on something you've been thinking about for a long time. Be careful with emotional spending. You may tell yourself, "I deserve this," and perhaps you do. But deserving something doesn't automatically mean buying it at the wrong time. Think ahead. Keep some money aside. Don't spend every extra amount simply because it arrives. This week is especially good for thinking about financial independence. Not just making more money, but creating more choices. What would happen if you had an additional income stream? What skill could you monetize? Could you work online? Could a hobby become a business? Could an old idea finally become profitable? Aquarius, your unconventional talents may have more financial value than you realize. You don't necessarily need to follow the traditional path to create stability. You simply need to build something that works. And when we move into love, the energy becomes much more personal. If you're already in a relationship, you may begin questioning whether you and your partner are truly growing in the same direction. This doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It means you're becoming more conscious of the future. You may want more freedom. Your partner may want more certainty. You may want adventure. They may want stability. You may want to change your lifestyle. They may prefer the way things are. None of these desires are automatically wrong, but they need to be discussed. Don't wait until frustration becomes resentment. Talk early. Talk honestly. And most importantly, don't expect your partner to read your mind. Aquarius often processes emotions internally before explaining them. You may think about something for weeks before finally saying it, but the other person doesn't know what is happening inside your mind. Give them the opportunity to understand you. If your relationship is healthy, this conversation could actually bring you closer. You may make plans for travel, discuss living arrangements, talk about finances, consider a new project together, or simply rediscover the friendship underneath the romance. Because the strongest relationships aren't built only on passion. They are built on trust, respect, laughter, and the ability to grow without losing yourselves. For single Aquarius natives, the romantic energy is unpredictable in the best possible way. Someone unexpected could catch your attention. This may happen through friends, work, social media, travel, education, or a completely ordinary situation. The person may be different from the type you usually choose. Maybe they're more adventurous. Maybe they're unusually intelligent. Maybe they have a completely different background. Maybe the conversation simply feels different. An Aquarius mental connection matters to you. You need someone who stimulates your mind as much as your heart. A person who makes you curious can become far more interesting to you than someone who simply looks attractive. So don't judge too quickly. Allow conversations to develop. There is also a possibility that someone from your past returns. A former friend. An old romantic interest. Someone you haven't heard from in months. This person may appear just when you have finally stopped thinking about them. But before reopening an old door, ask yourself something important. Do you miss the person, or do you miss the version of yourself that existed when they were in your life? That distinction could save you from repeating an old emotional pattern. Your social life becomes increasingly active throughout the week. You may receive more invitations. You could meet new people. You may reconnect with someone important. Or you may suddenly realize that your current social circle no longer reflects who you're becoming. This is natural. People evolve. Interests change. Priorities shift. And sometimes friendships that once felt permanent become distant without anyone doing anything wrong. Don't force connections to remain alive simply because of history. At the same time, don't push away everyone simply because you're changing. Some people are meant to grow with you. You'll know them by the way they respond to your evolution. They won't feel threatened by your success. They won't demand that you remain the person you used to be. They will celebrate your growth. Those are the people worth keeping. Your emotional world also becomes deeper this week. You may suddenly understand why certain events happened the way they did. A disappointment from the past may begin to look like protection. A relationship ending may finally seem necessary. A career failure may reveal itself as redirection. Something that once felt like a closed door may actually have been the beginning of another road. Aquarius, healing often begins when we stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this teach me?" That question changes everything. You may also realize that you've been carrying pressure that doesn't belong to you. The pressure to succeed. The pressure to make everyone happy. The pressure to have your entire future figured out. Release some of it. You don't need to know exactly where you'll be 5 years from now. You only need to know what deserves your attention today. Your energy levels may fluctuate throughout the week. There may be moments when you feel extremely motivated, followed by periods when you suddenly need to withdraw. Don't punish yourself for needing rest. Your mind may be processing more than you realize. Give yourself quiet time. Go outside. Disconnect from unnecessary conversations. Sleep properly. Move your body. Spend time doing something that doesn't need to produce a result. Not every moment of your life needs to be productive. Sometimes your best ideas arrive when you stop forcing them. Now let's look at the important days. August 15th may bring a reflective mood. You could find yourself thinking about an old decision and wondering whether you would make the same choice today. August 16th is favorable for career planning, communication, applications, and networking. Reach out to people who can help you move forward. August 17th requires financial caution. Avoid impulsive purchases and don't make major money decisions simply because someone pressures you. August 18th may bring unexpected news. A message or conversation could introduce a completely new possibility. August 19th carries strong romantic and emotional energy. Couples can strengthen their connection through honest communication, while singles may experience an unexpected attraction. August 20th is excellent for social connections, networking, learning, travel, and creative projects. Say yes to meaningful opportunities. August 21st brings clarity. Something that felt confusing earlier in the week may suddenly make perfect sense. Aquarius, there is one important warning for you this week. Don't rebel simply for the sake of rebelling. You are independent. You don't like being controlled, and you shouldn't allow anyone to control your life. But sometimes rejecting advice simply because it came from someone else can become another form of limitation. You don't need to accept every opinion. You also don't need to reject every opinion. Listen. Evaluate. Then decide. Your independence becomes powerful when it is guided by wisdom rather than impulse. And this distinction could be especially important in your career and relationships this week. You may also face a choice between comfort and growth. One option may be familiar. It may feel safe. But it may also keep you in the same place. The other option may feel uncertain. Could require learning something new, meeting new people, changing your routine, taking a financial risk, or admitting that the old plan no longer makes sense. Don't rush. But don't automatically choose comfort either. Ask yourself which decision your future self would respect. That question may reveal more than you expect. Aquarius, your future may not look like the future you imagined 5 years ago. And that is not failure. Life changes. You change. Your definition of happiness changes. Your definition of success changes. Your priorities change. The dream that once mattered most may no longer be the dream you want. Give yourself permission to evolve. You are not obligated to remain loyal to an old version of yourself. And perhaps that is the greatest message of this week. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to start again. You are allowed to want something different. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to build a life that makes sense to you, even if other people don't understand it. During August 15th to 21st, 2026, pay particular attention to coincidences. A repeated name, a surprising invitation, a message arriving at exactly the right time, a person mentioning something you've been thinking about, a strange opportunity appearing from nowhere. Don't automatically call these signs of destiny, but don't ignore the information either. Sometimes life communicates through patterns. Your job is to notice them, and then use your judgment. By the end of the week, you may feel that something inside you has become lighter. Perhaps you've finally stopped worrying about something you cannot control. Perhaps you've made a career decision. Perhaps you've met someone interesting. Perhaps you've discovered a new way to make money. Perhaps you've simply realized that you don't need everyone's approval anymore. That realization can be incredibly freeing. Because once you stop trying to convince everyone that your choices are valid, you finally have more energy to live them. Aquarius, don't let uncertainty convince you that nothing is happening. Some of the biggest changes begin quietly. A seed doesn't look like a tree. A first conversation doesn't look like a relationship. A small business idea doesn't look like financial independence. A single application doesn't look like a new career. But everything begins somewhere, and this week may bring you that beginning. So protect your energy. Be careful with your money. Speak honestly in love. Stay open to new people. Listen to your intuition, but don't abandon your logic. You don't need to chase every opportunity. Choose the ones that align with the person you're becoming. Because August 15th to 21st, 2026, may not simply bring new circumstances into your life. It may change the way you respond to them. And that is a much deeper transformation. Aquarius, you have spent enough time wondering whether the world will make space for you. Now create your own space. Build the future that feels authentic. Follow the idea that keeps returning. Take the opportunity that genuinely excites you. Walk away from what repeatedly drains you. And don't be afraid if the next chapter looks unfamiliar. Sometimes unfamiliar is exactly what growth feels like. The road ahead may not be perfectly clear, but you don't need the entire road. You only need enough light to take the next step. And Aquarius, this week, the light is beginning to appear.